spread of the virus ahead of the Christmas celebrations amidst the detection of the Omicron variant.
Currently, the Ghana Health Service has directed that all persons 18 years and above arriving in Ghana from December 12 must provide proof of full vaccination. The new directive is to ensure the country limits the importation of the virus during the Yuletide. Since the emergence of the coronavirus pandemic in March last year, President Akufo-Addo has been addressing the nation on measures his administration has put in place to intensify the fight against the COVID-19 pandemic to prevent further spread. His latest update. His 6th address was on July 25 when the country's COVID-19 cases hit 100,000.
President Akufo-Addo says the world should be grateful to South African scientists whose knowledge and expertise in genome sequencing made it possible to identify the Omicron variant of COVID-19. Addressing the EU in Brussels, Belgium, President Akufo-Addo says South Africa should be commended rather than being put on a travel ban list. The president questions why a travel ban is not imposed on the Netherlands but against South Africa.
Let me use this occasion to reiterate the strong opposition of the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, whose authority I have the privilege to be current chair, to the decision taken by countries, including those in the EU, to single out African countries for the imposition of travel bans. Omicron has been discovered in over 40 countries, with reports indicating that this variant was present in the Netherlands way before it was discovered in South Africa. The world should be grateful to the South African scientists whose knowledge and expertise in genomic sequencing enabled them to identify the new variant. Plaudits, not the condemnation of their peoples, should have been their portion. Why is there not a travel ban imposed on the Netherlands but against South Africa, one might ask? I'm a firm believer in the statement that no one is safe until everyone is safe.
The Ghana Health Service has revised its protocols for persons arriving at the Kotoka International Airport. Unvaccinated passengers will have to take COVID-19 vaccines. As of Tuesday, December 14, 2021, more than 100 unvaccinated Ghanaians who arrived at the Kotoka International Airport were vaccinated with the single-shot Johnson & Johnson COVID-19 vaccine, as per the Ghana Health Service directive, following the detection of the Omicron variant of the COVID-19.
According to officials of Port Health at the Kotoka International Airport, the passengers, mostly Ghanaians, who were vaccinated were returning from West African countries. The exercise will continue for the next 2 weeks as per the Ghana Health Service mandatory vaccine policy. Per the Ghana Health Service directive, airlines that bring passengers who are not fully vaccinated to the Kotoka International Airport shall be surcharged $3,500 per passenger. Again, passengers are required to present evidence of having filled Ghana's health declaration form at the point of embarkation, and that airlines that bring passengers to the Kotoka International Airport without the passengers having filled out the health declaration form will also be surcharged $3,500 per passenger. The head of Port Health at Kotoka International Airport, Dr. Lawrence Latte, said no airline has been surcharged for bringing in unvaccinated persons and explained that the directive would be implemented in the coming days. He said all unvaccinated Guineans and residents of Ghana who were currently outside the country and intend to return within 14 days December are exempted from the airline surcharge up to December 28, 2021, but they would be vaccinated on arrival at the airport. Since the detection of the virus, the Kotoka International Airport has had a strict travel guideline, including the observation of the prescribed COVID-19 protocol, in addition to the mandatory PCR testing. Still in health, the Ghana Health Service intends to incorporate family planning methods into the National Health Insurance Package. The service is also working to institutionalize comprehensive abortion care in both public and private facilities. These are part of measures to prevent maternal mortalities and disabilities in the country's health facilities. At the launch of Zero Tolerance for Preventable Maternal Deaths and Disabilities in Accra, the director of the Family Health Division of the Ghana Health Service, Dr. Kofi Issa, said complications, including deaths recorded at health facilities, are usually from unsafe abortions.
The Ghana Health Service and its development partners have identified the role family planning plays in reducing preventable maternal deaths. It says a significant number of women in their reproductive age with unintended pregnancies resort to abortion. Unfortunately, abortion-related maternal death, though highly preventable, remains underreported due to the stigma associated with it. For this reason, a new national policy of including clinical family planning methods in the NHIS minimum benefits package for all women is key. The campaign on zero tolerance for maternal death by the Family Health Division of the Ghana Health Service is to help remove all barriers and unfair treatment that push women and girls with unintended pregnancies to dangerous paths that eventually lead to their death. At the launch of the campaign, the director of the Family Health Division of the Ghana Health Service, Dr. Kofi Issa, said reducing maternal mortality is a national priority.
Investing in women's health is investing in a nation and its development. But to be able to do this multi-sectoral approach, everybody has to put their hands on deck. And once we put our hands on deck, we know that abortion deaths can be stopped now.
The Director General of the Ghana Health Service, Dr. Patrick Kumabwaje, called for removal of all barriers to abortion care and maternal health care.
A good number of women and girls in this day and age continue to involve in unsafe abortion, resulting in needless and highly preventable maternal death. We need to ensure that the client-centered family planning services, which will not only reduce unintended pregnancy but also reduce unsafe abortions, spade births, give them a good chance to try, and also taking advantage of the inclusion of the clinical family planning into the NHI package is important.
The Zero Tolerance for Preventable Maternal Deaths is a year-long campaign aimed at educating the public on the use of family planning services and promoting the study of sexual reproductive health rights in schools across the country.
Findings of a Ghana Health Service project to improve the health sector during the initial stages of the COVID-19 outbreak in Ghana has brought together stakeholders in the health sector to find ways of bridging those gaps identified. The project centered mainly on the state of health institutions and their preparedness to handle COVID-19 cases. Our reporter Gitia J sat through the discussions and reports.
In June 2021, Ghana implemented the World Health Organization Health Service Capacity Assessment Survey to assess Ghana's health facilities to respond to the COVID-19 pandemic as well as maintain essential health services. The survey fielded 3 of the World Health Organization's modules adapted to fit the Ghanaian context. The study examined COVID-19 case management capacities, continuity of essential health services, and community needs, perceptions, and demand for health services. The nationwide survey covered all levels of health facilities under the Ghana Health Service. 143 health facilities in 9 regions participated in the survey. From the survey, a major gap exists in the availability of PPE for staff, shortages of essential clinical tools and supplies in health facilities, shortages in COVID-19 diagnostics testing services, and concerns in communities' acceptance of vaccines. Dr. Cornelius Deper is the lead researcher.
The World Health Organization felt the need for various countries to get quick information about the state of their health facilities and their preparedness to handle COVID-19 to enable them make decisions as the pandemic evolves.
Dr. Robert Kuganeb is a former MP for the Binduri constituency and is hopeful that the implementation of the study will improve Ghana's health sector.
We have learned a lot. Some of the things have been practical. Persons have experienced certain things that we have not, and we have not read in books.
Partners of the project, the Alliance for Reproductive Health Rights, explained why the improvement of Ghana's health sector is their priority.
What we've been trying to do is largely engaging with different players, state and non-state actors, the private sector, to address issues like oxygen, availability, helping government to procure PPEs, and also trying to change community apathy, or reluctance in taking up the vaccines. And we feel that these are some processes that we as civil society organizations can be engaging largely to improve the COVID-19 situation in Ghana.
The health segment was brought to you by Lufat, Tobingo's premium gift to Africa. You're still watching News Hour live on GBC News and on GTV. You're also streaming live on Facebook and on YouTube at Ghana Broadcasting Corporation. We take a quick break. I'll be back with more stories. Please don't go away.
So staying on, Ghana has discovered iron ore in commercial quantities at Akokrowa in the OT region. The Geological Survey Authority says it is still working to know the depth of the iron ore before mining operations could start. On a visit to the iron ore deposit site, the Minister for Lands and Natural Resources, Mr. Samuel Jinapo, described the discovery as good news for the OT region and the country at large.
The discovery of iron ore in commercial quantities at Akokrowa in the Oti region emphasizes the minister's call on opinion leaders to protect the country's natural resources, which are to be exploited for national development. Currently, a road linking the iron ore site is being reconstructed to open up the area. The visit to the site was part of the final lap of the minister's countrywide tour to familiarize himself with the nation's natural resources. The chief executive of the Ghana Geological Survey Authority, Dr. Daniel Buama, said the Akokrowa iron ore is of the highest grade.
The initial thing that was like of no commercial quantity, we have found that it's of commercial quantity. This one is the banded iron, and we show you the grade, which is 55.22, which is very high. So after the reserve estimation, then we know where to move on.
Briefing journalists after visiting the site, the Minister for Land and Natural Resources, Mr. Samuel Jinapo, said the Geological Survey Authority was still working to know the depth of the ore and was expected to conclude works to establish the volume of the mineral and hand it over to the Ghana Integrated Iron and Steel Corporation for exploration to begin by the middle of next year. The minister mentioned that government is thus working through the Ghana Integrated Iron and Steel Corporation to find a private company to partner it to explore the mineral.
Iron ore are found in commercial quantities here, and that's what you have to establish first. Originally, it was just presumed to be incidents of iron ore existing. This is good news. This is something that we can all be happy about, because if, as a result of their work, they had come to the conclusion, look, this talk about iron ore and the rest is not even in commercial quantities. It means we have come to the end of the road. But having established that it's in commercial quantities, it means we are in business now. We can now proceed to, as they are doing, establish the volumes and the real quantities, and thereafter we can exploit the iron ore resource and eventually be able to build here in Ghana an integrated steel industry.
The minister also interacted with members of the Oti Regional House of Chiefs.
Now, government is to pilot a 6-year secondary education system beginning in 2023. The education system will be piloted at 15 sites across the country, and it is envisioned to be more efficient and cost-effective. At a news conference in Accra, the Minister for Education, Dr. Yao Osei Educhum, said if the reforms in the sector go as planned, 13,000 junior high schools will be reduced to about 2,500.
2023, when we open those schools, you're going to see how we are going to provide 6 years quality secondary education and not 3 years plus some 3 years old middle school led educations that we call high school, so that we truly get high school. The reason is simple. Go to Nigeria, they have 6 years and they operate the same thing. Most of the junior high school, majority of them are under the same management as the high school. So Prempeh College will have a junior high school, and it's under Prempeh College headmaster. And the same teachers that teach high school, senior high teach the junior high. So quality instruction is offered, same level of resources. Libraries are there, science labs are there, and therefore they will end up doing better. Consequently, the reform that we are proposing, to me, is a common sense reform. A reform that makes sense to the ordinary person on the street.
Legal Aid Week has been marked in the Obuasi municipality of Ashanti with a reminder that access to legal aid for equal and fair justice delivery in the country is a civil right and not a privilege. The program's manager at the Commonwealth Human Rights Initiative, Mrs. Esther Poku Ejuhini, who gave the reminder, said financial constraints, ignorance and lack of information prevent people from accessing justice in the country.
The Commonwealth Human Rights Initiative, a non-governmental organization, is implementing the USAID-funded Ghana case tracking system, which is aimed at helping to strengthen the nation's justice delivery system. The case tracking system enables key actors in the justice delivery system to electronically access and track the various stages of criminal cases from the point of arrest through investigation, prosecution, conviction and rehabilitation to release. It is being implemented jointly with Legal Resource Center and the Crime Check Foundation. Government first launched the electronic case tracking system project in 2018 to support key justice sector institutions to collect and harmonize data for effective justice delivery. The sector institutions include the Ghana Police Service, the Prison Service, Attorney General's Department, Legal Aid Commission, Economic and Organized Crime Office, and the Judicial Service. At Deba at Tutuka in the Obuasi municipality of Ashanti to mark the Legal Aid Week, the director of the Africa Office of the Commonwealth Human Rights Initiative, Madam Mina Meza, advised Ghanaian litigants to make use of alternative dispute resolution mechanisms.
Legal aid, a human right. This will be my legal aid, and yes, all your favor. And yes, sir,
some poor people do not have the opportunity to go in for lawyers like most rich people. It is mandatory for every country to provide legal assistance for the poor.
And yes, sir. And see, as part of the human rights situations now, you are now conditions. No, your share or mind be or the near my battle. So here ni sama obenya obi abuano.
The program's manager at the Commonwealth Human Rights Initiative, Mrs. Esther Poku Eduhini, called for intensification of community education to enlighten Ghanaians on the existence of legal aid.
There are so many cases at the court which are not progressing. However, the Legal Aid Commission has provided an alternative dispute resolution to resolve cases outside the court.
A senior alternative dispute resolution officer at the Legal Aid Commission office in the Ashanti region, Mr. Frederick Kankambwedu, said nothing should discourage people from accessing legal aid services.
A three-member panel of the Court of Appeal has overturned a 90-day prison sentence handed to actress Rosamund Brown, popularly known as Ekuapem Polo. This was after the prosecution informed the court that the state was not opposed to an application for bail or an appeal against the High Court's decision to uphold the ruling by the Circuit Court to jail her.
On Wednesday, lawyers of the actress, led by Mr. Andrew Kojo-Votia, argued that the 90 days custodial sentence was harsh and prayed for it to be replaced with a fine. Mr. Votia, in his submission, argued that the High Court erred in failing to appreciate that the convict is a first-time offender and a single mother, and that a non-custodial sentence of a fine instead of a custodial sentence of 90 days was appropriate in her case. The prosecution, led by senior state attorney Madame Amele Ajimai, told the court the state is not opposed to the two applications by the convict. She said the defense admitted that though the conviction was right, the sentencing was harsh. Ms. Rosamund Brown, popularly known as Ekuapem Polo, was sentenced to 90 days in prison on April 16, 2021, after she pleaded guilty to 3 counts of publication of obscene materials, engaging in domestic violence, or conduct that in any way undermines another person's privacy or integrity, dignity, or worth as a human being. Rosamund Brown appealed the ruling by the Circuit Court, but on December 1, the High Court dismissed her appeal to have the decision by the lower court reversed. At the Court of Appeal, Justice Henry Anthony Kofi, reading the decision of the panel of 3, said even though the 90-day sentence was fair, they were reminded to replace it with a fine because the actress was a single parent who needed to be with her child. Besides, she has shown remorse. The panel described the event leading to her conviction and sentencing as foolish ways and advised her to learn a lesson from that. The court then imposed a fine of 1,000 penalty units, equivalent to 12,000 Ghana cedis. She will continue to serve a term of 90 days in prison with hard labor if she defaults in paying the fine.
You're still watching News Hour live on GTV and GBC News. Still ahead, business, sports, entertainment and energy news to stay.
Good evening, welcome to Business, brought to you by MTN and Whirlpool. My name is Morris. So, but in our very first story, inflation for the month of November stood at 12.2%, the highest since 2019. This represents a 1.4% month-on-month inflation from October to November 2021. Food and non-alcoholic beverages continue to dominate as main drivers of inflation, with a 13.1 percentage point rise, while non-food inflation scored 11.6% for the month of November 2021.
CPI for the month of November 2021 stood at 135.2 indices relative to 120.4 indices that was recorded for the same time, November 2020. This culminating in an inflation figure of 12.2% for the month of November 2021. This means that prices of goods and services over the one-year period, that is November 2020 and November 2021, have gone up by 12.2%. On a month-on-month basis, between October 2021 and November 2021, prices of goods and services went up by 1.4 percentage points, indicating that between these 2 months, that is October and November 2021, prices of goods and services went up by 1.4%. From Upper West and Northern regions remain the highest regions with the highest inflation, with Eastern region recording the least inflation, indicating a wide variation of 14.5% between Upper West region, which has the highest inflation of 17.2%, and Eastern region, the least inflation of 2.7% for the month of November 2021.
As inflation now stands at 12.2%, way above the target of 10 plus or 8 plus or minus 2. In some other stories, the Petroleum Commission is seeking to establish a technology transfer unit in January next year. The unit will enable Ghanaians in the oil and gas sector to acquire certain skills that are rare among them. A decade after Ghana started commercial production of crude oil, key areas of the production value chain remain in the hands of expatriates. An assessment of the Petroleum Commission's local content policy show there are various barriers to technology transfer to indigenous Ghanaian companies and individuals. To develop the industry faster, technology transfer is considered one of the most important policy measures adopted by the government. Speaking at the opening of the 2021 edition of the Local Content Conference in Accra, the Chief Executive of the Commission, Mr. Egbert Febo Jr., said there is an urgent need to close the skills gap in Ghanaian oil and gas companies.
There are Ghanaian companies in JVs, engineering JVs for example, and the indigenous Ghanaian company doesn't even own an engineering yard. So all that it does is that it sits at home, and then at the end of the month, the foreign partner in the JV just maybe pays, for example, say $10,000 to the indigenous Ghanaian company for coming to work with it. The question then is that over a 10-year period, over a 20-year period, if we should get to a stage where Ghanaians should be able to do the engineering works on our oil fields, where would the capacity be?
He noted that the Petroleum Commission is strengthening existing modalities to champion and accelerate technology transfer in Ghana's upstream petroleum sector.
As we speak, we have 150 Ghanaians qualified, training at no cost to them or their parents, at about $7,500 per person. They are presently in training at the Takoradi Technical University, to be specific, the Jubilee Technical Training Center, where they will graduate in March next year, and they will come out with CTA and Guilds International Vocational Qualifications Level 3 as process technicians, instrumentation technicians, electrical technicians, and mechanical technicians.
The intended establishment of the Technology Transfer Unit under the Local Content Directorate of the Petroleum Commission in January 2022 is in line with government vision of creating and exporting future oil and gas technologies. Away from that story, the Ghana Stock Exchange has marked 30 years of its existence with a recognition of those who have in diverse ways contributed to the progress of the capital market. Trading on the Ghana Stock Exchange started on the 12th of November 1990. The exchange has since evolved to become one of the best performing in Africa, with its landmark automation program in 2009 and the award-winning initial public offering of MTN Ghana with the innovative use of mobile money platform. At the Ghana Stock Exchange's 30th anniversary dinner and awards night, which was rescheduled due to COVID-19 last year, Finance Minister Mr. Ken Ofori-Atta traced the humble beginnings of the company and the capital market as a whole.
Of course, at that time, we had no idea how much of a landmark the GSE would grow to become. We were three precocious young people throwing fortunes to win, starting an investment bank in Cantonmantle. I mean, who ever heard of that? But we were excited about the future and we plunged into it. So fast forward to 2021, 31 years older, with all these issues. But, you know, one feels like a caliph ready to take more to do. So by God's grace, hopefully we are a lot wider, and we should be able to continue to support the clarity and the vision that the exchange has.
There were two broad categories of awards comprising stakeholders and long-serving GSE staff. The stakeholder awards were in three categories, including those who contributed immensely to the establishment and development of the Ghana fixed income market, companies and stockbrokers that listed first on the GSE, and special awards to individuals whose contributions have helped develop the capital market. Managing Director of the Ghana Stock Exchange, Mr. Eko Afedi, and a former business journalist with the Graphic Communications Group, Mr. Lloyd Evans, were also recognized. We go to the interbank forex market and bring you updates on how the cedis perform. We also update you on latest price of major commodities on the international market. MTN and Whirlpool.
Segment. My name is Mabel Anang. Deputy Minister for Finance, Mrs. Abna Osei-Asare, says the inability of the Electricity Company of Ghana, ECG, to collect debt owed them by its customers has led to huge debt to its main suppliers, including the Ghana National Petroleum Corporation, GNPC, and Ghana Gas. She stated this when she appeared before the Public Accounts Committee of Parliament on Tuesday.
The Public Accounts Committee started its public hearings to consider the Auditor General's report on some ministries, departments and agencies. The committee touched on ECG's inability to collect debts from customers, resulting in mounting debts to suppliers. ECG recently cut power supply to 3 major institutions that owe the power distributor about 500,000 Ghana cedis. At the inauguration of a new board for the company in August 2021, the Minister for Energy, Dr. Matthew Puku-Prempeh, said the company is unable to account for about 10% of its revenues. For every 1,000 megawatts of electricity sold, 100 megawatts is unaccounted for, and because of that, the ECG is always in debt. When questioned on what government is doing to collect the debt, a Deputy Minister for Finance, Mrs. Abna Osei-Asare, said the ESLA levy helps in this regard, but it is not enough to settle the debts. Mrs. Osei-Asare said the ministry is working with relevant stakeholders to find ways to address the issue.
ECG is not able to collect enough revenue, hence they are not able to pay. So there are outstandings, and this has compounded over time. So I know it's a big issue that government is looking at. But currently, as we speak, this is the situation. But Mr. Chairman, they sell the gas to the various players. The various players are not able to collect enough revenue to pay back what they have taken. And that is the reason why we find ourselves here. That is what government uses part of the ESLA levies for. But like I said, we know that is not enough. It's not adequate.
If you know that is not enough, what are you doing?
Mr. Chairman, policies are made by the minister, and so I know that they are working together with Ministry of Energy and the relevant stakeholders, and we will come out with, and the minister will come out with directives that we believe and policies that will help us in this area, Mr. Chairman.
The Volta River Authority, VRA, was on leverage on solar and wind to add to its renewable energy portfolio. Chief Executive of VRA, Mr. Emmanuel Entry-Dakwa, encouraged mine workers to take part directly from VRA in a bundle. He was speaking at the VRA's annual general meeting in Accra.
We are diversifying, okay, but within the context of overcapacity. Okay, we know we already have an overcapacity issue in the country. But we are still diversifying. We are going along the route of solar and then wind, which I showed on the screen. What we are trying to do is to encourage most of our, let's say the mines, for example, to take power from us in a bundle. And when I say a bundle, it means conventional power like a Kosombo thermal plant, plus some renewable. And that has been quite successful. That's why we are treading that path. We believe that once we continue with the renewables, we'll reduce our carbon footprint as well, and then the nation will be better. Today we are in an era of climate change, and we should be seen to be doing the same thing that others are also doing.
So that's how we wrap up for Energy News. I'm